And the moment he started going all in, he moved his body away from his opponent.
Yep.
And he looked just at the space where his opponent is going to make the insta-call.
Mm-hmm.
That means weakness.
It's the Poker News Podcast.
Welcome back to the Poker News Podcast presented by FanDuel Poker. I'm Chad Holloway at Level 9 Studio, joined by Ben Ludlow, Mike Holtz, and our special guest, Nacho Cuesta of MasterPokerTells.com. Very special episode, my friend, because you're going to take us through some live poker tells, which is going to be exciting. So thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor.
Yeah.
You are originally from Spain. Well,
Yes.
you are from Spain, not originally.
Yes.
You live there now, right? Yeah, but in town for the World Series of Poker.
Yes. Just I came here for the last week. That's 5 days ago to prepare the main event and to be here as a guest is a perfect occasion.
Yeah, we just bagged for day 2 and we need some live tell coaching. So it's time, baby.
It's interesting because you and I met randomly at the
Yes.
poker table in a World Series of Poker, not main event, but a side event. And
It was a PokerNews event, the 600.
yeah,
stuff.
was it? So yeah, we met randomly at the World Series of Poker and here you are. Tell us a little bit about Master Poker Tells. You know, when did this start? Why did you start it?
Okay, 17 years ago, I was playing professional poker in Spain, and I realized that I saw some little gestures, little tells in different people, and I started to notice that they meant the same.
Yeah,
It's weakness, sometimes it's strength. So I started to research why is that, and is that because in every human in the poker table is going to behave as a fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
So when we get to that level, we behave the same way. We are very simple.
Yeah.
We have different brains, but in the fight or flight mode, we are going to behave the same. So I started to notice that different people started to make the same things that meant the same, and I had to stop my poker career. I started to put my time in marketing and sales in international companies. 6 years ago, I started another project, which is a smart life collar that is in a neoprene collar with electronics that is going to detect you if you are in the water, swimming or surfing or whatever. It's going to detect if you get unconscious or
wow.
And it's going to inflate automatically an airbag.
Wow.
So
That's
you
nice.
get your face over the water, so you will regain consciousness.
It's really cool.
And breathing by your own, so you won't need to do any CPR or anything. So
Amazing.
But when you're an entrepreneur, it's really hard, the money thing and the first, because it's been 6 years, and the last year I'm going to finally launch it. But so that's why 3 years ago I started again playing poker to make some money.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I got that project of mine. But as I was not going to be a full professional player, I just made a research of the business that what if I take this to get some more than 50 tells that I can sell.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like this is something where I feel like I've had so little instruction. You know, like I can infer things, and Mike has obviously honestly helped me a lot in terms of, you know, talking about like, oh, this is what happened at the poker table and this is how I adjusted. And even some of his coaching videos where it's like online, he's so good at like thinking about exploits, adapting to a certain player. But like the physical side of it, I spend no time on. You know, like I can understand someone's mood and how that might affect them, or they're tilted or whatever. But like, you know, watching back, not to brag, I was on the feature table yesterday for the World Series Poker main event. But watching myself back, I don't think of myself as someone who necessarily emotes a lot or would give a lot away or adjust or whatever. But I was definitely like doing some, like when I was thinking about a decision, I was kind of like using my eyes a little bit or changing things. So I'm excited for this just so I can coach myself a little bit too, not just to figure out some tells, but to like get my shit together a little bit.
I mean, I don't think poker has had a focus on live tells for quite some time.
Some of the best, they are really good at it, but like from the mainstream. Agreed. Yeah.
Well, like Mike Carroll, the mad genius of poker,
Yep.
he was the first to do it a long time ago. Joe Navarro, the former FBI agent, I know wrote some books and stuff, but since then there's not been much. And I'm curious too, from like your perspective, Mike, because you're an online guy who's ventured into the live realm, and I know online poker has its own sort of tells, right? Like timing bets and bet sizing, etc.
100%.
But it's a lot different in the live realm with physical tells.
I think for me, I'm very good at understanding tells, but it's not like I don't say to myself, like, for you, you've studied. For me, I've never like studied like, oh, okay, their hands do this or their eyes do this. It's more of, I think I just have like a subconscious gift, like a talent where I just, I talked about this on a different podcast on the chip race. I think that having a traumatic childhood actually is like huge for being able to understand live reads because when you're a child and you want to get the attention of your parents or you're trying to figure out like, what is every single, like if my mom makes this little face, it doesn't mean she's upset, you know? So you're trying to like get attention when you're young, and that translates into now what I think is I just am able to read people's like micro expressions, and my brain just goes, something's not right about this. And it's the same thing with online poker. It's pattern recognition, just recognizing a pattern over and over again. When they bet quickly, when they do this sizing, when it's online, it's generally just sizing and timing, basically. You know what I mean? But there's plenty of tells online. I mean, plenty of really good ones. And live, it's just when I'm watching a hand, and one of the biggest things for me, and I don't know about you guys, and you probably see this all the time in coaching, is that when I'm not in the hand, when I'm watching it, I'm like, I know what these guys have every time. I'm like, that guy's, I literally, there's so many times at the table where I'm like, you have ace queen and you have ace king, just show the fucking hands. Let's get this over with. Come on. And they show them. I'm like, yeah. When I'm in the hand, I feel the pressure starts. I'm thinking about other stuff, and it's harder to be natural and calm. So that's one of the things that I want to work on the most, is being able to do the same thing when I'm out of the hand, when I'm in the hand.
Yeah. I know, just real quick, with Master Poker Tells, so according to the course now, you mentioned 50 poker tells. I think it's up to 74 universal poker tells, from the micro tells to the macro tells.
Yes.
We're going to look at a few hands here in a moment. You're going to kind of give us a course, if you will, a breakdown on some things.
Yes. First of all, I wanted to difference between the tells that I would say the first level of tells is the empathy levels.
Yeah.
That maybe you see someone that is not really comfortable, or you see something that you have seen in your life, but not in a poker table.
Sure.
So the tells that I'm going to talk about a little bit is a second level of tell, which is when then becomes the micro tells and macro tells. The micro tells, you cannot make a decision in a street based on one micro tell, but if you make a group of 2 or 3 micro tells that go in the same direction, you can make a decision and you can take apart the ranges.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. I have made hero calls when there was no bluffs.
Yeah.
And the bluff was crazy.
Yeah. This is not in a range. This is just
And when you see a macro tell, is 95% you are going to be certain that's if he's weak, or he's strong, he's strong. There are sometimes when people make a micro tell of weakness, but it's because he's making a thin value. So you have to really, first of all, know about poker. You have to be an advanced player of poker to make the right assumptions about tells. And the first thing is that one of the things that I believe you don't know anyone. There is a huge difference between when someone is checking, between the taps he's going to make. Because people change from one tap for 5, 6 taps. And if I ask you, do you try to make the same types in the same pace every time in every street? No. Right?
It's very hard. Very hard.
And have you looked at that when you are playing against an opponent?
Yeah.
Have you looked at that? No.
Right. No.
You're right.
Oh no, I look at it all the time. But I mean, that's like literally like
See,
all
this
the
is
time.
what I need to do.
Like,
I'm also realizing
hands for me, eyes and hands for sure. Hands so much. Like if I remember watching Cherish Andrews, and Cherish Andrews always plays like this, and I always stare the people down. I'm trying to look at pulse. I'm trying to look at eyes. But when I've done this and just stare at the hands, man, you see, like you don't even need to look. Like if someone looks at their cards, I just see them look at their cards. Like you can tell just by the way they pull the cards back if they have a strong hand. A lot. Even like professional players are giving away insane amounts of tells.
I can say I have coached some of the super high rollers, and And the first thing that they didn't care about the way they were checking and their opponents checking.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't notice. And it's a huge... I mean, I have 6 groups of tells. The first one is the checking group, betting chips, eye tells, speech tells, the all-in tells, and the general movement of the body. And I tell my students that the most important ones are the checking and the betting, because even Vogelsang is going to commit some of that tells.
Yeah.
Sure.
Even Vogelsang.
Really?
You know?
Wow.
Or Huston. So, yeah.
They're the best.
So
too.
anyone can't escape the tells about checking.
If Ike's got live tells, then everyone does. So,
Yeah.
I'm also
wow.
realizing I missed out a lot on not having a traumatic childhood.
Yeah,
Like
for
for
sure.
poker, for comedy, for everything.
No,
You
it's
could have had a
it's-
bracelet
my,
by now.
my
Best
parents are
background for
so
both
supportive
those.
and lovely and great people, and they gave me everything, and this is what I get.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Mom and Dad.
You do have some hands we're going to go over, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
I know one is from the main event final table, WSOP Europe in 2024. It was down to just the final 2 players, 768 runners in that field. Set it up for us. What are we going to be looking at?
I think so. This event was the main event of the WSOP in Europe, and the profile of this guy is very aggro. Okay, and the hand was kind of crazy. He started check raising, and at the end on the river, he got the blocker. And I want you to focus on how he is going to go all in.
Okay,
how he's going all in. Okay. How his sides is going on in, how his body moves when he goes all in. Okay.
2 hands.
Okay, yep.
Let me ask you this. I think when, you tell me if you agree with this, I think a lot of times when someone says all in and they look at the dealer, that they're stronger than normal. You think yes or no?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. There are little subtle things that you
yeah.
have to take on mind there.
For sure.
All right, so we get the 2-hander.
Yep, he uses both hands to grab the chips.
So you have to think that his opponent is right in front of him.
Yeah.
He's not at his 10.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's in front of him. And the moment he starts going all in, he moved his body away from his opponent.
Yep.
And he looked just at the space where his opponent is going to make the insta-call.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And just after that, he's going to look away.
Yeah.
So that means weakness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got
And
it.
we are going to see another hand.
What
That-
happened here? Did he end up calling? We didn't get
No,
to-
he folded.
He folded.
He folded,
So the
yeah,
bluff
really?
got through.
Folded.
Got
He was-
him.
but
Well, if he had taken your course, I mean,
Yeah.
you might have
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
Interesting.
And we are going to see another hand here this year in the World Series in the 1.5K 6 max.
Oh.
Yep. So from this year's World Series of Poker,
I'm going to advance to the river. Okay.
Sounds-
When he goes all in, he looked
Directly
at the eyes of
at
the
him,
opponent.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's not afraid at all.
He's not afraid
like
at all.
ready to fight. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
Right? So there is a huge difference here. When you go all in, if you look at your opponent at your eyes, you are really strong.
So
You feel
strong.
your body feels really strong.
Yeah.
The tells occurs because poker is really complex.
Yeah.
And in the last year, for the last 10 years, it has made, I think, it's more complex than before.
Oh, yeah.
So when you are thinking all the time about the sizing, if you check, if you're sizing the blocks, the blockers, everything, and when your brain makes a decision, you are going to, I'm going to check, I'm going to place 30% bet of the pot, but you don't tell your body how to execute it.
Yeah.
And when you
Sure.
don't tell your body how to execute it, your body is going to express how, if you are strong or you are weak, because you didn't give him the execution process, the
Yeah.
execution action. So the body is going to express himself how he wants.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not we mentioned Ike Haxton before, and he was always someone and is someone where you look at how he makes every decision it's the same time, the same breakdown, the same kind of like he'll do his thing and then he'll go 1, 2, 3 with his chips and then make the decision where it's like the same process every time. And I mean, it just goes to the point. And obviously, like you hear this, and of course it's obvious, but you have to train yourself to be consistent, to do the same thing every time. Like, again, like it was such a shocking thing watching myself yesterday and realizing that like I'm probably doing some of this exact same stuff where, you know, I have a good poker face. I'm not like reacting to a big card. I'm not whatever. But yeah, if you don't train yourself to not emote in that way, then you're going to give off something.
I find it great to talk at the table before, like when we're not in hand, to get a baseline. And then I like to talk to people in hand, just joking around, saying whatever. I feel like when people talk in hands after the flop, they're generally much more likely to have connected with the flop if they're talking versus when they're quiet, especially if we're talking a bunch beforehand. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
It depends.
Yeah, it depends.
You got to take the course.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I might be terrible.
It depends in how he's smoothly talking, on how if he's not looking at you or looking at you.
Yeah.
And the way, if the things he's saying are kind of,
do they make sense?
Yeah, do they make sense or not? It's many things. It's many things, many different perspectives that you have to have to make a decision based on that. But it's like the traditional question about how many chips do you have left. And it's going to depend a lot. I put in my course 4 different types of answers.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
It's one of them is going to make a different strength of the hand.
Sure, yeah.
Right, we got to
like how they move their hands and everything. Of course,
yeah. How they count the chips, how they look at you or not. It's a compound of things. Yeah.
So cool.
So this hand is the heads up of the 200K Invitational in Triton.
Yeah.
And this is Seth Davies playing. Okay, so we are going to see. I want you to watch the flop, and I want to tell me if you see how Seth Davies check.
Okay, this is the final 2 players of 133 player field, and Davies flopping 2 pair. Okay.
He looked away.
He looked
at his hand.
Yep.
The thing is that what really matters here is the pace. No, is how fast he reacts to the checking.
Yeah.
So in the poker table, we try to lie to our opponents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's the bias. So if you flop a monster and you want to express to your opponent that you are weak, you're going to check really fast.
Of course, yeah.
I flopped a straight flush yesterday and was like instant check.
Yeah. So when that happens, and it's not a multi-way, it's a really big hand that it is a heads up. This is very important hand. And you instant check, and then you see that your opponent instant check, and then he raises you. In case you have the nuts, fall.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and in this one, Seth Davies made it. But let's go for so this is good because this guy has a mystery hand.
I love a mystery hand.
Okay, it's a mystery hand, and based on how are you going to see how Alexa Pavicevic goes all in? I want you to tell me if you think it's strong or not.
Okay.
I do love betting in this spot.
2.4 million. And he gets snap jammed on here by Pavi.
Okay.
Sure, yeah. Just a flick of the hand and says it.
I feel like
you have to notice that he's playing against one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
And if you feel strong enough to look at him at his eyes,
Seriously.
And the moment is your life play here, you know?
Yeah.
It's the most important hand of your life here.
Right.
And you look at at the eyes of Seth Davies right away after going all in.
And you take 3 seconds to do it as well.
Unless you're just so ready to bluff with I don't know, Seth's got the best bluff cards.
So what do you think?
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I mean, listen, if he's the sickest and he reversed the live tell, it's incredibly polar. But I mean, I would assume that he has Queen Jack.
Queen Jack or Queen Jack of Hearts or something. Or
Queen 9 of Hearts, maybe. I don't know how the rest of the hand played out. Yeah.
Seth Davies made the call. It's
Seth.
2 million. It's 4 million for the second and 6 million for the first, right? So if Seth Davies made the course before this hand, maybe he would save up 2 million.
5 deuce of hearts. All
deuce,
right. Yeah. I was going to say flush. Makes sense. Although, didn't he bet the flop?
I mean, it's interesting because at low stakes,
check.
when I came up, when I was playing 1-3, that's strength 100 times out of 100. So it's very interesting to see that even in the $200,000 buy-ins, they're not like for me, I'm trying to reverse tells all the time because I'm conscious of what I'm like, oh shit, I just gave off a tell. So now in every hand after that, I've got to do that exact thing. And then by the end, I'm doing 10 different reverse tells every hand. I'm like, nobody knows what's happening. I'm just like, my mouth's open, my mouth's not open, you know?
Well, it's also, it just shows too that it's at the highest level. You know, there's got to be some sort of bell curve where it's like obvious tells, you know, here at the low stakes, and then you get to the mid stakes and everyone's kind of like, it starts to even out. And then at the high stakes, we're so in depth on theory and kind of like balance and all of these things that we just forget about the fact that like, you know, this is a moment where if Seth, I mean, he took his time, he thought about it, but he wasn't thinking about probably the quickness of the all-in and like the giving of strength. He was just thinking about, in theory, I have the king of hearts, which is a great blocker, you know, here for all sorts of hands that got there, etc. So, yeah, you know.
The thing is that even players that maybe they are playing 1-3 in cash or tournaments of 500 or 200 are going to make the same poker test than Seth Davies or I don't know, Alex Foxen.
Sure, yeah.
It's because no one told them that if you make this gesture, this legit gesture is going to give information.
Yeah.
So we all know when we get in the table, we all know that we have to make a poker face.
Yeah.
Because if not, you know,
yeah,
you have to seem happy when you flop the nuts. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
So we all know that, and we are going to take care of that. But no one told them how you really have to go in. Or how you have to check, or how you have to.
There's no courses out there that besides yours, obviously.
Yeah, there is no one that is going to tell you if a different instructor of tips is going to transmit that you are strong or not.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's one other thing. I don't want to just like start listing tells for fun, but the other thing that I've found recently that I always look forward to is in a spot like where you have a ton of denominations of chips and someone goes like, okay, say like instead of betting 5K in the river, they bet like 4,800 or like, you know, oh, I'm going to go, you know, 2370, whatever. Just some like, it's never a bluff. Like people are bluffing. They're like, as much as possible. They're not like thinking like, 2375 is a bluff. It's just like they got it.
I think one of the, I mean, for me, I always, and this is just from Crush Live Poker stuff. I always, when I in 1-3-2-5, I always bet the big chips whenever I had value, and I try to put as many smaller chips in to make it look bigger. Just like maybe versus recreational fish.
Maybe I'm bluffing myself. I could be wrong.
I don't know. What do you think? Am I tripping?
There are some tells. I have some tells of an exact amount of bet.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't care. It doesn't matter if it's 30%, 50% of on over bet. I have some bets, exact amount of bet that I'm not going to tell about.
Okay.
Oh, I got some. I think I know exactly. Add a little 1K chip on, etc. You know, like 6K versus 9K, 8K. Yeah.
That changes a lot because it's a science that supermarkets has learned a lot in the last decade. So. We use the same logic and psychology in a poker table when we place a bet. So I'm going to tell about two tells that are already public in one of the articles in Poker News. That is, one of them is the perfect pyramid.
Okay.
So when you make the structure of a perfect pyramid value in a bet, which is 4 tips of the most valuable tip, let's say this is 5Ks. 3 tips of there are 4 tips of 5Ks, 3 tips of 1K, and 2 tips of 500 is kind of escalonated. It's 1 less tips every
descending pyramid.
Yeah.
This is kind of a perfect pyramid. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
This is a macro tell of strength.
Okay.
A macro tell of strength. But if you see a inverted pyramid, which is 4 tips of 500. 3 tips of 1K and 2 tips of 5K.
Macros are the other way.
This is a macro tell of the other way.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I agree with this.
But this,
sure.
This only you are going to realize that after making a really big data as I made, and I started to realize why people do this, why people do that, and when you have a big data and you start crossing data. You get this?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can be
crazy.
as intuitive as you want, but you know, you've looked at the data, so I trust what you say.
No, I've seen, this is like the most tell of all time. Like it's 100%. And then I see it like a lot of people where if they have value, they bet like they put it out with the two things. And then if they have a bluff, they just haphazard throw it out, or the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's very interesting. You said that's in an article on Poker News, so I can link to that in the show notes and people can check it out.
Yeah,
perfect.
Right, yeah.
A quick question for you. I don't do it as much as I used to. I used to always wear sunglasses, though, at the table. We've talked a lot about the tells of how the eyes are looking one way or the other. So could wearing sunglasses, help prevent giving away some of these tells?
I have 13 tells in the eye tells group. And the thing is that when I start making the intensive course with my students, the first thing is that you have to know that there are 4 ways of looking at someone in their eyes. The fifth one is fear, but let's take that one apart, okay? But there are 4 ways of looking at someone in the table. And if you master that 4 ways, you are going to be a really top player. Because you are going to know kind of you are going to have a really close range of the hand of your opponent. It's how they look at you and your eyes. When you look at him, how they really look at you. And
maybe this is what I'm going to do today is just get your course and watch everything. Get ready for day 2. You want to come over?
It is very interesting, and I've known about this for a while, and it's more in depth than people might think. It's definitely more in depth than like the Joe Navarro stuff I read 15 years ago or whatever it is. And like we said, 74 of these tells into different categories.
Yes, in 6 different categories, and it's. I think it's really fun to watch because it's micro-learning videos. It's 3 minutes videos, more or less. When I'm going to explain kind of the why, I'm going to demonstrate the tell. And then you are going to see like a fiction hand with me playing there to close the range. Because I cannot put in the course, I cannot sell a product where inside there is hands from Triton or
of course.
We just did it.
So well, it's free on YouTube.
So that's why I made the fiction. But the good thing when I made the private session is that I'm going to test you with the real hands to see if you got it or not. The good thing is that 95% of the players that I just 1 minute ago I told them a tell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put a real hand, and when that occurs, just 10 seconds later, I ask him, "Did you see?" No, I didn't. Because you have to. It's like if you go to play baseball, and if you play baseball with your mate, okay, you are going to see the ball, right?
Yeah.
But if the best pitcher in the ball start to pitch, you are not going to see that ball.
Yeah.
So you need
I'm built different.
I don't know. You need 2,000 pitches to start seeing the ball.
Yeah,
that's the same thing with the poker.
Yeah. And it's the best part about this, I think, too, is that like, you could create a tell course and say all these things and say all these tells, whatever, and like, oh, you need to learn them. But the fact that it's data driven, the fact that you have tons of examples of each, this isn't just like, well, I've been watching and I saw that he did this and this was the result. No, you've seen people in many hands do this and have gathered tells from a huge data collection, which is new, I think. I don't think Mike Caro was going and saying, well, I watched 1,000 hands. He was just like, I looked in his eyes and I could tell that he didn't have it.
Do you think, like, when you're dealing with students and you're doing coaching, do you feel like there is a large gap in those with, like, natural talent with reading tells, or do you think it's more like studying GTO where everyone can do it? You know what I mean? It just takes time.
As everything, there are people more talented than the others. So I have taught 3 of the best players in the world, two in live poker, and one an online poker player. And the thing is that the 2 that were like a professional players on live poker, they started to notice the tells when I put the real hands. They started to notice the tell. But the other one started to study a lot, and he took them in the knowledge.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, but the other day we talked about, but I was the other day making an intensive course with Moneymaker, right?
That'd be awesome.
He was the best of all. He was crazy. I was going to tell him a tell, and almost 90% of the tells he was going to notice it.
Wow.
in the first moment he
Yeah.
saw it in the real
Interesting.
I think
That's
it's
cool.
I talked about this on the chip race. I really think that there's like a natural talent, like a base where like some people like Scott Seaver,
Dan
for
Lowry.
example. Scott Seaver, yeah, exactly. Dan Lowry. They just have something in their brains where they just they just notice things.
But I mean, the way moneymaker players of Phil Ivey or Daniel Negreanu, they have I don't know how many thousands of hours.
Sure, yeah.
Most of their play is looking at his opponent.
Yeah.
So they have trained their eyes to be able to observe every detail. So that's why Moneymaker was able to almost catch the tail in the first moment he saw it.
It's very impressive.
It was very impressive
for me. This is fascinating to me. I love that. I love tells. I think it's so cool. I love psychology. So this is awesome. I love this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If there are people who are listening, watching that are fascinated by this, like we all are, and want to learn more or particularly maybe get involved and take your courses, what's the best way for them to do that?
Just go to masterpokertest.com and take the course. It's 4 hours, maybe 4 hours of videos, but it's not only 4 hours. You have to study, restudy, and to start playing and watching TV, watching streaming. So
I love watching
the
Not
whole
bad.
series of poker is crazy.
My favorite way to study, just watching videos, easy peasy, you know?
And to study a lot because I don't recommend to watch it. Okay, I'm going to start today. I'm going to watch the 4 hours. No, your brain is going to explode.
Yeah.
You have to.
So you're saying
Day by day.
don't
Day
try
by
and
day.
memorize every tell for day 2 tomorrow?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because there are tells that are opposite.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Of course.
So I made myself a mistake 2 years ago in the main event when someone plays a really small amount of bet, and my brain was, that one is the weak one. No, it was, and I realized, that's
That's the worst. That's the worst.
That's the one.
Got to study yourself even more, you know?
Well, Nacho Cuesta, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the Poker News Podcast to tell us about masterpokertells.com and to show us some videos in the chip stuff. I think it's fascinating. I think you guys do too.
Yeah. I mean, look, we all talk about finding all of the best quantitative information about poker has been out for 4 or 5 years now, right? We've had solvers, we're deep in it. Everyone is somewhat familiar now. Taking your game to the next level and being a great live poker player, you need to look at things that people aren't thinking about. And this is the next frontier. Some of the best, Alex Fox and Chance Kornuth, we talked about Moneymaker. Some of the best players in the world are focusing on this, and they're not going to talk about it and tell you what they know, but they know,
That's a curse for my course because I have taught some of the best players in the world, but they are not going to tell anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's a huge edge right now. Because everyone is a D2 wizards, right?
Yeah.
So you have this edge. Is going to mean
massive.
a lot. Yeah,
It's
it's
massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's almost more important than I would rather take someone like if I'm buying action, I'd rather have a horse that kind of knows GTO but has a good but they know tells, they know people. I would much rather take that. That's why someone like Rigby, I think, has a lot of success. Like he's obviously going to make a bunch of really terrible decisions, as we've seen. Like some of the decisions he made are terrible objectively, but then he makes so many deep runs, and I think it's because he has a sense of like, this guy's afraid of me right now. I'm just putting pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
I have this a lot when mid-pro players come to me and try to say that as I know that really pro as a semi-pro player, but as I'm not a pro player, I'm not going to be able to teach them any knowledge because they have played more hours. But I told them, okay, you have been focused in the last 5 years, 10 years, just in solvers, and I have been focused only on this, like for 5 to 7 years only on this.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm going to have a knowledge that you don't have, and I can teach you to be a more complete poker player. Because when you play online poker is one thing, and live poker is another thing. And in live poker, you have to have different skills, like in a web skill when you are playing football or in a game, in a video game, so you are going to see the different stats of the skills of the player.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
So solver is I think it would be the strongest one, but you have to know the patience. You have to know about psychology, about tells, about the strategy of a tournament that the meta strategy for a tournament of the main event is not the same as a one hyper turbo one-day tournament.
Completely different.
Yeah.
And
Completely.
I think about pro athletes, you know, I mean, you know, I'm sure think about the best quarterbacks in the world or something. Well, some psychologist isn't going to teach them how to be a better quarterback, but they're going to teach them how to perform better in the moment and focus and use their natural talent and skills to the best of their ability, you know? So same idea.
It is masterpokertells.com. I will link to it in the show notes. Once again, Nacho Cuesta, thank you for taking the time. We're going to wrap up this episode. Remember, we're doing our March to episode 1000 to coincide with the final table of the World Series of Poker main event. We'll have some special giveaways and festivities, if you will. I'm Chad Holloway, Mike Holtz, Ben Ludlow, and Master Poker Tells, Nacho Cuesta. Until next episode, we'll keep a seat open for you.